Okay, one of the very first things we want to talk about from Panoptic's product line are our switches. Interesting thing about the way our switches work, it has to do with the power. Remember, this is data, power, and control. So our switches break down into three basic product lines: 802.3AF, which is the 15-watt standard, and 802.3AT, which is a 30-watt standard. And then, even though the standard hasn't been approved yet, we do what we call an 802.3 AT Ultra, and that's 60 watts per channel or per port go out on this device. Now, one thing that's unique is that here's obviously each one of these are 8 ports in the 3 different models. Here's a 16-port version of the AT and a 16-port version of the AT Ultra, and then this is our 24-port AF version. What's interesting about this scenario, or this set of switches, is they're full power all the time. So you got to do the math. When you look at some of our competitors and some of the commercially available products, they can only do half power. So when we do full power all the time, we say 15 watts times 8, 120 watt power supply. If there's not a 120 watt power supply, when you do the math, that means that you can only do some less power. Most of our competitors do 80 watts, which means that they'll do full power on half the ports or half power on all the ports. And the same thing goes for the AT. So when you talk about now an Ultra with 60 watts, okay, per port, and there's 8 ports, that's 480 watts or a 500 watt power supply you'll find in here. That's a lot of power. We can put out 8 ports at 60 watts on every single port. All right? And the same thing goes for the AT on the 16 port and the AT Ultra on the 16 port. So you can imagine that's 1,000 watts of power built into this, 2 500 watt power supplies. We can power cameras, pan, tilt, zoom, heaters, blowers, all the things you want to do. Plus we can power things like computers. And we actually have some customers actually powering computers. We'll even show a demonstration a little bit later on. So the question is, how do you get all the power out of these things? How do you get that 60 watts so you can take advantage of it? That's going to be in another video about our POE adapters and how they work. All right? Thank you very much. I hope this helps explain our switch line a little bit. And please, we look for any feedback possible.